Hi guys, welcome to Science and Tech series, and this is session 8, and it is related to the topic the space debris and International Space Station. Okay, I hope you are enjoying my Science and Tech classes. Okay, if you have any doubt, just comment me and clarify your doubt also. Okay, let's go in our. Okay, what is the space debris here? What is space debris? You know, right? We launched so many satellites in right in the space. So many satellites are remain unfunctional. So those unfunctional, non-functional satellite in the space, they are remain as the space debris. Okay, if you read this, you can get to know that is here also one definition is there. Any human-made solid waste object orbiting Earth that no longer serve any useful purpose. And sources of space debris, that is defunctioned satellite 1 and spent rocket stages, thus removing of the stages of the rockets, and the satellite collisions. When satellite collision happen between two satellites, then they will also become a non-functional. They will also, and anti-satellite test like that kinetic weapon strike, major culprit will be happen. That China's in 2007, our India's mission Shakti 2019 also happened like this, and Russia 2021. Astronauts activities also, if they may last the mission, then that also became space debris. Why in why is space debris dangerous? Why, yeah? It is object in the low Earth orbit travel to a blinding velocity 27,000 to 28,000 km per hour. They will travel like such a speed, and a tiny flake moving at orbital speed can strike with a kinetic energy and greater than the fired bullet. Small debris does not equal to the small threat. Just remember what is this comparative reason, okay? And right, guys? What are the major consequences? Yeah, it threat to our functioning satellite also when it is collide, and threat to the human space flight means some astronauts will stay on the International Space Station. They always has the vulnerable to live there, and threat to launch windows. This also may completely destroy our launch missions also, and threat to Earth also. The large debris that failed to burn up completely during a re-entry can strike populated landmass. Now is Kessler syndrome. The NASA scientist developed this Kessler syndrome, and that is Donald Kessler. He was developed this syndrome. And here, what is happening means the way the density of the object in the lower orbit is high enough that collision between the objects. Okay, what is the density of the object in the lower orbit? That is the density that enough is to happen the collision between the objects, and that collision will lead to further collisions that will continuously lead us on chain reactions like that. When we launch the rapid launching more satellite in the orbit lower orbit, what will happen? It will be initiate the collision occur in the orbit, and after that what will happen? It created tens of thousands of fragments. Okay, it will create fragments that each fragment acts as a new projectile. That high collision probability is there. That is Kessler syndrome. That is orbit completely become unusable. That is continuously collision happening in that orbit. Like further futures launching satellite also will be become a failure. What is this mega satellite constellation? The commercial enterprises launching massive network of small satellite into low Earth orbit significantly worsen the orbital crowding. What is that? The small company are now emerging to launch a satellite, and for their purpose they need the private companies also for their purpose they are launching satellite, and that's why the space debris is increasing massively. And for example here the Starlink, that is SpaceX, and OneWeb and Amazon project QPR. And here international efforts to mitigation space debris is there. First one, in that first one, the interagency space debris coordination committee. Here what is happening in global consensus building forum of primary agency like ISRO, NASA, ESA, JAXA, Roscosmos and CNSA. They derive debris research and mitigation planning. What will happen between the ISRO, NASA, ESA, all the major research institute of space agency, they build one consensus, and after that they will do research and plan for mitigation it. And here second one is UN space debris mitigation guideline. It is recommending voluntarily emphasizing that is minimize the operational debris. Need to minimize first initial launchings also, and then we have to deorbiting the post mission life also. We need to deorbit that post mission life. Already launched vehicle we have to need to be deorbit, and then eliminate the accidental breakups. Next, ESA Clean Space Initiative. What is what is the its aim? It is focus on developing technology for eco-friendly space hardware. It is eco-friendly space hardware need to be developed, and next also orbital active removal also need to develop, and active debris removal technology, cutting edge system designed to pull dead component out of the orbital. Here some means value means exam related points is there. Here what are the critical challenges for it? Space sustainability framework. What are the critical challenges? Explosive rise in commercial satellite volume rate. Already I said that is small private company are started emerging the launching satellite, that will lead to the massive debris in the space and creation of massive mega constellation causing extreme orbital density, and the lack of binding international penalties or legal enforcement. They till now we don't have any binding international any guidelines or any legal framework. And next, high energy engineering cost and complex technical risk for active removal mission. Here it has a high cost and complex technical risk for active removal missions. The way forward for this, promote global space governance under UN framework. We need to promote a global space governance first, and then mandate mandate end of life disposal guidelines, 25-year rule strictly down to 5-year decay, and incentivize reusable launch design and orbit servicing. We have to give the incentive for reusable launch designs and orbit servicing. We need to give the incentive who are launch the reusable launch design and orbit servicing, and global funding for high priority active debris cleaning. That is International Space Station. Now some important point we are going to study about the International Space Station. Okay, what is that? It's the world's largest international. It is a space station, world's largest space station, and it is permanently inhabited artificial structure in the orbit. And what is it is one of the unprecedented engineering and geopolitical alignment. Okay, it is we can't predict like that engineering and political alignment, and it is a acting as the state of the art microgravity research laboratory. It helps us the uh, do some experiment in the space station also. Now what are the core feature of the ISS, that is International Space Station? Okay, its orbit is the it is present in the low Earth orbit, and its average altitude that is 400 kilometer, and it will revolve around the Earth 24,000 to 28,000 kilometer per hour, and its orbital period is 90 minutes. Okay, and that is, its length is the 109 meter, and its mass is the 420 ton. It is since 2020, 2002, now it is still there in the space only. India is part of International Space Station. India is a coordination of the space station, International Space Station. No, it is not. No, India is not a partner of it. And yeah, it is collaborating. I said now it is collaborative of the 50 nations and the 5 international agency like that NASA, that is United States, and Roscosmos, that is USA, to Russia, and ESA, that is European Union, and JAXA, it is Japan's, and CSA, that is Canada. Okay, now it is now what are the purpose of international space stations? It will help for microgravity research, means to conduct deep crystallization and the fluids and the combustion physics test, which is impossible under the gravity draw. The which are the experiments are not have done in the, means that some experiments are there now to do without gravity, so that experiment will may possible in the space station. And now second, what is the second purpose is the human psychology, physio- sorry, human physiology. Okay, it will tracking bone density degradation. Okay, it will track our bone density degradation, and the muscular atrophy and the immune shift during prolonged vegas. Okay, and then three, space medicine also enhancing long-term deep space life support tech also happen. Next, hydroponic and crop studies testing vital bioregenerative food system for the moon-based targets. It may help to test. Next, crew and cargo transport. Crew and cargo transport. What these are? It is a SpaceX and Crew Dragon. Remember, SpaceX's Crew Dragon that is belong to the USA. It is it is a commercial and reusable space transport. SpaceX developed a reusable space transport, and it is launched since 2020. Okay, because of this, we it's possible human tourism to the space also, to low Earth orbit. Next, Soyuz spacecraft, Russia. It is robust and longest serving legacy system operating over multiple decades. It has been present over multiple decades. Okay. Now, how the International Space Station can deorbit the planet? Because its period and its lifetime will be end at 2030. Okay, 2030 International Space Station life is ending. Because okay, we have to remove that International Space Station, and how they will deorbit that. First, what they will do, first, high thrust of engine, the engine will blow high thrust and deorbiting the vehicle. That vehicle will deorbit, and then when it is enter into the slowly atmospheric, the our earth atmosphere entry, and we this next we have to divide it in a structure fragment, and next we have to map it and the crash land directly in the point Nemo, where it is present, that is in the South Pacific Oceans. Okay, it is there, guys. See, oceanic pole of inaccessibility is the Pacific Ocean. It is a far from any land masses, which is minimize the risks during debris disposal. I hope you got there, right? And also here International Space Station and Tigong Heavenly Palace. What is this Heavenly Palace Tigong? This is also a space station of, it is solely owned by sorry, owned by China. These the International Space Station is owned by 50 collaborative countries, but it is only China. China can has the own whole power on Tigao. It is not collaborate with any other country, and it's the launch year is 1998. But Tigong, it is the first model 2021. Its first model is gone in the 2021. Okay, and its crew capacity up to 7 astronauts. It can be 7 astronauts will be there. Here, 3 to 6 taikonauts will be there. Major objective is global civilian scientific cooperation, and here its Tigong objective is national research and defense and strategic power. I hope guys this is help you. Okay, and I will bring some interesting topic in the next session. You have to watch continuously if you need knowledge, and if you have to crack UPSC exam, please follow this, because this, if you're not able to understand by my word, but by reading these notes you can gain. If you need these notes, please comment on me. I will tell you based on that. If you read these notes, it is enough. What are the basic concept for science and tech? And you want to, okay, if you want to updated with current affairs, now it is not possible for me, but after some days I can arrange it also. Okay, I hope you get very well. And if you are not understanding by my word, please pause this video and try to read that those line. You can get what you want, because it is very easily, we can easily read some basic sentences are there. It is not complicated. Okay, if we understand the concept, we can play football in our exam. That's it. Here only understanding is the gaming, and we are not get interest to while reading, right? Because we are not understanding anything. When we once understand, then interest uh, timely, over timely, it is our interest will build slowly. When our interest build, we can apply our this knowledge into the other subject also. So when we explore our knowledge, we can do very well. I hope you guys, if you need these notes, just let me know in the comment section. Okay, I will be, once I got that measures, I will be very active. I can provide you.